Hi everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we will be learning about what is SSL pinning, how we can be able to bypass SSL pinning, and why we need to bypass this SSL pinning stuff, right? And we will learn how to bypass it using different tools like objection and FRIDA. Okay, so first of all, let's learn about what is SSL pinning. So SSL pinning is basically a process of associating a particular host with its certificate or a public key. Okay, so once we know a host certificate or public key, we just pin it, we just hard code it to in the application code itself. Okay, the Android application code. Now there are two types of SSL pinning based on what we are pinning. Okay, so uh, first thing is we are pinning the certificate itself. Okay, so we just download server certificate and put this in our application bundle, and we just so what happens at using this method is basically whenever the application is running at the runtime, the application compares the server certificate to the one which we have hard coded into the application. Another thing is pinning the public key. Okay, so in this case, we can just retrieve the certificate's public key and include it in our code as a string. So what happens at the runtime? The application compares the certificate's key to the hard-coded one which we have already placed it in our code in the application itself. Okay, now we talk about certificate and we talk about public key. So fundamentally, what happens is basically that whenever we want to connect to a server securely, okay, so SSL and TLS comes into the picture. So whenever we try to connect, there is an SSL handshake. SSL TLS handshake comes into the picture, which is a four-way handshake. So unless and until we cannot be able to identify that the particular host which we are connecting, uh, we are going through a secure medium to that. Okay, so just bypass SSL, right? So we just want to intercept the traffic. Okay, and we just want to check it into the bub suite itself. What happens over here is application won't allow, it's a client side check. Okay, so application won't allow to send the traffic to the server which is bub suite over here, because bub suite is a man in the middle. Okay, so application just checks the, you can say, certificate or a public key, and it just identified that the certificate is from bub suite, so it won't allow to send the traffic, and we cannot be able to capture the traffic in the bub suite itself. Simple. Now, how we can be able to identify the certificate pinning? So let's take an example over here. So here, uh, I have downloaded an application called Dream11, which is a famous application. Okay. So here it is. All right. Now, if you want to check that whether certificate pinning is enabled or not, what we have to do is we just pointing it our servers, you can say the IP of our burp suite. Okay. So burp suite is running on this particular you can say IP, an 8080 port, which is a default port of burp suite. Let me just show you the burp suite. All right, this is a community edition, and as we can see that the burp suite in the option itself, we have to enable this all interfaces. Otherwise, we won't be able to intercept the traffic of coming from a different host other than the loopback. By default, it is loopback only, but we have to change it to all interface so that we can be able to intercept the traffic of mobile application. Okay, if we just place it over here, okay, and it will just show you the star. All right, now let's see. So let me just minimize it a bit. Okay, let me just clear this. Now when we just click on this Dream11, it will start the application. All right, now let's see the worksheet. And over here, when we try to just enter something, Just click on the click on this. It will just try to generate the traffic. Okay. So if you see that when we just try to enter the number, it will just show the error something like this over here in the dashboard section. Over here, the event log. And when you see the event log, you will see that something like this, that the D11 events framework.dream11.com. So client failed to negotiate a TLS connection to this particular domain. Why? Just because it is not allowed. Certificate pinning is enabled, and we cannot be able to send the traffic to this particular host just because the certificate of burp suit is not hard coded or pinned into the application. All right. So both the certificates cannot be verified. Now what we can do is we can use several techniques. So what we will do is just we will uh, first of all run objection framework, and we will try to bypass certificate pinning with objection. Okay. So here is the command, and just so for objection framework, um, objection hyphen hyphen gadget, the package name. Now how we can be able to get the package name, we will see just in a minute. We are just exploring this particular application package, and hyphen s is a startup command. So whenever we want to start whenever we are starting the objection framework, we want to start a particular command with that. Whenever we are launching the framework, this way we can be able to do it. Now let's see how we can be able to get the package name. So simple commands over here. Simple frida hyphen ps hyphen uai and grabbing the dream 11. So we can be able to identify this dream 11 package name. Now if we don't specify this grab and we just run this, so we can be able to identify all the packages installed in our mobile application. All right. Okay. So we are running the objection now. The application will restart itself, and as we can see that some of the function which are overridden using this objection framework. Okay. So overriding the trust manager with empty one, not throwing some exceptions over here. So now let's see that we can be able to intercept the traffic. So again, I am just inserting a particular any number. All right. I am just going to burp suit. I am intercepting, and we can be able to intercept. Now let's click on this, go to the burp suit, and see whether we can be able to intercept the request. Okay. So here, as you can see, that the host is this. Let me just yeah. Okay. So previously we were getting error for this particular host. Now we are getting a request. Now we can be able to test particular things to this particular request. Otherwise, we won't be able to intercept this request, and we won't be able to test this request. Okay, so we can be able to intercept this request. Now, this is an easy method using objection, so which will work in most of the cases. Okay, and we can be able to see that the error is coming to that the particular mobile is not registered with Dream 11. All right, so if we don't run objection, we are getting something error something like this. Oh, okay, let me just restart it. If you don't run it with objection, So the certificate pinning will be, you can say, enabled, and we were getting this particular error, something went wrong. Okay, now let's try to bypass it using Frida. So underlining in the objection framework, Frida is used, so we can be able to easily. Okay, so this is the universal SSL check bypass.js file, and which is easily available on the internet. You can be able to understand if you are familiar with the JavaScript, that what it is doing. Here is a particular class, and we are just using that thing to bypass SSL pinning. Okay, so now let's run this. Let's try to run this, and this is the command. We are using frida-l, that particular JavaScript file, -u for USB, -f for a particular package name which we identified using frida-ps command. No pause. Now let's see that whether this works or not. Okay, so now it is just spawning this particular application, and we have console.log about bypass SSL pinning. So it will, whenever it is the function is called, it will just print it over here. Okay, let's go to the login. I will enable I will intercept the burp suit. Okay, any random number to check with. We just want to check that whether we can be able to intercept the traffic or not. If I click on the next, and as you can see, we can be able to successfully intercept the particular request. Okay, we are just forwarding it. Let's see what happens. And we are getting some familiar message that this mobile number is not registered, which means that we can be able to successfully bypass the SSL pinning check. Alright, thank you for joining in this video. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.